Hey
Good
now.
evening. Good evening, Mr. Sedgley.
Good evening, Mr. Bent.
We have two of the three splinters here tonight, everybody, for
Hmm.
now. Ronnie will be here, but
Yes.
apparently he's on a call that's more important than
Yeah.
this podcast. So, and
Yeah.
and essentially more important than all of you listening. He's
Yeah.
he's basically saying he does not care about your feelings. He
That's right.
does not care about any of you,
He doesn't
and
care about
he
us.
yeah, and he doesn't care about us. So,
Yeah, man.
he's
It hurts. It's like
he's
taking a
basic.
splinter to the heart.
Ooh, I like that. Good,
You like that? Not bad.
good job.
Not bad.
All right, so this is episode 172.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, man, we're doing it.
One of these days we're going to be just like, what is it? Wood Talk? Yeah,
Yeah.
with the Spags and
Yeah.
Cremona. And yeah,
Yeah. And
they have like
also
500 and
the
something episodes.
JRE experience, Joe Rogan.
Yeah. How awesome.
Dude,
Oh, man.
you got me so freaking hooked on Sean Ryan.
It's great.
Yeah. And I tell everybody now, even if you don't listen to Sean Ryan, get his newsletter because that
Yeah, if you want
lady's
to be
on there.
terrified.
That yeah. I just read that. It's like, oh my God, what is her she's former
Sarah
CIA.
Adams.
Sarah Adams. Holy
Yeah.
shit, she's tough.
Yeah. It's a good Oh, there
Oh,
he is.
oh my God. Remove the
Look at
splinter from my heart.
There I am.
unbelievable.
There he
Here
Shot
I
through the
is.
heart. Oh my gosh. Are you wearing another Festool flannel?
no, this is not. I'm getting it custom sewn on the pocket though, just to tell you that they
You,
sent it to me, custom made.
Ronnie, I feel like
Nice.
you buy your clothing and your car batteries at the same store.
My clothing, my car. Why? Why?
It just seems that way with flan your flannel shirt choices lately. Sedge is gonna die.
Chico, you're so sweet. Buy your
Can't even breathe.
Uh,
Oh, sorry. I took an opportunity.
Oh, that's a good way
Well,
to start the podcast.
yeah.
Oh my God.
We were just talking about how you clearly don't care about us or the listeners because you prioritize phone calls over, you know,
Yeah.
talking to your
Oh,
friends and your audience
mu
that needs
must have
you.
been a big business call or something.
oh yes, yes for sure. It actually ended exactly on time, so that's a good thing. I knew that I might be about 10 minutes late, so it worked out.
I told you. I'm telling man, they
You nailed
hold
it.
those meetings to the
Yes,
time.
I
To
thought
the
about
time.
that when it was like 2 minutes in. I was like, "Yep, that's what happened."
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, did I
so
just see
to
you guys last night?
You did, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today. We do have a new patron though, and I do want to welcome him.
Wicked cool.
And our new patron is Mr. Jeff Wood, who is also the guest on our podcast last week.
Wicked cool. Hey,
Awesome.
Jeff, welcome aboard, brah.
Yeah, welcome. And shame on you
That's
for not already being a patron.
Hey, all that
That's funny.
matters
That was
is
actually my plan all along
that's
was
it.
let's bring
Start
him on the
bringing
podcast.
non-patrons on, and then
We'll talk about Patreon and how amazing
We'll
it is
guilt
and
them in.
guilt them into becoming a patron. And it worked.
that's awesome.
He was
We'll
our
call
first
we'll
test.
call
I
our
hope he comes to
meetup
the meetup.
Guilt Con.
GuiltCon,
Con.
yeah. GuiltCon, which
Oh.
speaking of that, that's the only new patron we have, but I did want to give a quick update. I think we're up to 35 now, maybe 36.
Now you're
Um,
talking.
so there's
Awesome.
still, 14 or 15 tickets left. So those are going. If you guys are thinking about going, definitely get those tickets before they are gone and before the prices will go up. So we'd love to have you. It's going to be a great event. And last night just made me excited because we went to an event last night, the Festool 100-year celebration. And that is what we are going to talk about tonight because I'm sure people want to know what it was like and what the tools were and maybe share some of our thoughts on said tooling. So, yeah. that's what we can do.
Cool. Do we have a giveaway this month?
We do.
Just
I
checking.
don't know who yet. Yeah. Um, Tyler from Forge 3D, he actually told me last time, he was like, hey, if you don't ever have one, like, don't even ask. Just say that I'm doing it and then just let me know that I'm doing it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm trying to bring somebody on that we haven't had for a while, like Bits, or maybe somebody new. Yeah.
That's good.
Hmm. Okay.
Bits, TSO, something,
Okay.
or a new company.
I might have somebody new.
I was just thinking the same thing in my head, Sedge.
Yep.
Yeah. We'd have to
Maybe
figure
not
out what
this
that would.
month, but we can figure out the next month or two.
Yeah.
In the next month or two, I might have somebody that would like to give something away for you for the month.
Oh, you know what? I need to give the winner's information to Saliche. I'm waiting. I've made contact with one, but I'm waiting to
Cool.
hear back from the other one, Mr. Tyler Valentine. If you're listening to this and you haven't already gotten with me, you did win some slides. So check your messages on Patreon. Actually, I think I emailed you. But Festival 100 year event. What do you think? Sedge, let's talk about everything you had to do to help or to get prepared for it, because that's basically what you've been up to.
God daggone it. I am so whooped. So August. Okay, we've been planning this for a year. It's 100 years globally, but it's 25 years in the US. And there's a couple of us at Festool, uh, which is he's part of our group, inside and outside of work. We hang out with him all the time. His name is Rick Bush. Pretty much everybody knows him. Rick's my supervisor, but one of my closest friends. I've worked with him forever. And Brent, who everybody also knows because he's also a face of Festool. He's the Build with Brent series. Really good guy. He's part of Festool Live questions and answers. Good dude. We've been planning it for over a year in marketing, globally, and what happened was in August we said, okay, the grunt's got to work. So we always say that, Rick, Brent, and I, and it was if it had with the meetings that the three of us, if we hadn't had this would have not worked out because we always lift the load of setup. We always because it's trade shows. So in saying that, we had everything prepared. We knew what our duties were Monday morning. We had the first bay all cleared out. We had it for 2 full days, no receiving in the bay doors, and I think we had 25 pallets prepped, and
Wow.
we just hit the ground running at 8 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock we had a lot set up. And then all Thursday morning, and Thursday started at 8. And last night I was pretty impressed. I thought I'd be there Wednesday morning to like 1 or 2 because that's what it was in past times doing celebrations like that. But we get out of there about 11:30.
Oh, wow. Tear down the
So
whole
here's
thing.
well, no, well, here's the thing. I'm coming home. I had to detour to get home, and the little roundabout that's either going to Walker Farms or go to B Dubs. And I started going around and I jerked the wheel to home because I was going to come see you guys and surprise you. But I said, no way in hell. Because I had to
Yeah.
wake up this morning and put inventory away. And we spent all the way back out the back warehouse. We had this, that's where we brought everything. And the saga continues because that was all day to day. Tomorrow, when we get that, then we have all our employees are being flown in from Canada and all over the US and employees only. And tomorrow we celebrate with the family, board members globally, board members from Canada, US, all the employees from everywhere. And we have a big town hall meeting, kind of like a meet and greet different departments. We are flying in people. This is TTS too. We got people from SawStop, Shaper Origin. We got all the sustainer systems from North America, which is Thanos in town. They were part of the to get together last night, and we have a big company celebration dinner tomorrow night, which will be Thursday night. So it's one hell of a hellacious week, but I think it was just the prep that you have to do before, because the last 2 weeks I've been prepping demo material, and I think everybody saw it last. You two saw it last. I've cut enough material for the rest of the year. As Brent and I always know when we prep this stuff, how much is actually going to get used, right? But
Yeah.
that wasn't the point of last night. The point of last night was bringing in 70 of our closest friends, you guys. Okay. When I say closest friends, people we work with all year long, year after year, who actually help promote the Festool brand via social media. And just, we call them friends, you know? Uh, and then we brought in another 50 people from the Festool family. Those are everybody running around with blue shirts from marketing to repair. We gave tours of the building, stepped people through the history of innovation. We brought over about 15 tools from the very first chainsaw all the way through. And my job was cleaning them up. I think I've even talked about it on the podcast. And hollow chisel chainsaw mortar scene from the one of the very first electric sanders. We invented it. And people kind of understood that. And then we showed the new tools that were being released. I'll let you guys talk about the new tools. Now there's some tools you guys can't talk about because we had a secret room, and
Correct.
you guys got a real peek of some of the future stuff. Just a few, just enough to whet your appetites, which you guys can't talk about, but that's
It's
okay.
for the after
We wanted to
show.
make, yeah, but
The after show.
it's kind of cool when we can do that and we're allowed to do that with you guys. And we had product management in town. We had Karina Mole, who was a Stoll, her son Jakob Mole, he's the heir apparent, and we had Barbara Ostel, who is the chairperson right now for the family on the family board, and also came in with Sasha Mengeles, and I always mess up his last name. Such a great gentleman, and he's our CEO worldwide, along with Wolfgang Dr. Wolfgang Noor. He sits on the board. Operations was there, and also Matt Howard, who is also our CEO of TTS North America. He's also the CEO of SawStop. So, as well as what you guys know, all our executives from Clint, our CEO, to Michael, VP, Robert, Lori, they were all there. Angela gave a great speech, I think.
Mhm.
Uh, so, it was our Festool family with you guys, our uh, uh, our family. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to get emotional. When I was standing in that lobby, you were all coming in. God damn, I must have got 100 hugs.
Yeah.
It was so nice seeing people. And just over the years, and I was telling people, I go, boy, you know everybody. And I said, it's kind of a drag though. And they go, why? I go, because I like going out after hours to get to know people. I'm just saying hi, and next thing you know, I get distracted and taken away.
Mhm.
It's like Ronnie, you and I had to kind of go off to the side because
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
talk to you for a second.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I
I,
only
barely talk to you at all. Yeah.
I
yeah.
know, except to say that Whitwork sucks. And but
I
you want
saw
to know
that.
something? But you want to know something? I was just telling Jason, Ronnie, Sasha came in this morning, our CEO, and he looks at me and goes, Sedge, that was great. It's all over the media. I go, what? He goes, Whitwork sucks. And I go, oh my God, he posted it. He goes, yeah, 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 it was great.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
went, oh.
Yeah.
So and the other thing I realized too was watching the family coming up and walking to all the influencers and going, oh, I follow you. And I'm like, cool.
Mhm.
We had the media there too. And I talk about this gentleman a lot. He means a lot to me because when I was as growing up into growing into the trade, I read his books and I would follow him and go someday I'd like to go to Conover workshops. And Ernie Conover over the years has become a very close friend, and
Hmm.
he hung out with me a lot because I was running the Domino area, and he hung out with me and he talked with everybody, and it was really good. He gave Jakob um, one of his books because Jakob is a really, really good woodworker, cabinet maker. and he just loves woodworking, and it was really cool. So, um, hopefully I didn't gush too much, but there's a certain pride in that because Rick, out of the 25 years we've been in the United States, Rick has been 20 years. He's celebrating his 20th year, and I've uh, been doing it for 18 this May 15th, and it's truly an honor uh, to be part of it. And I think Brent's been there for 15,
Yeah.
no, 14, and we always say, yeah, with the crazy ones, we've stuck around. But you want to know something? It feels pretty good that somebody said last night, he goes, "Oh, you've been a big piece of this company." And I went, "Wow, wow, thank you."
Yeah.
I take real, I mean, you guys know me really good because you're my close friends. And you know me, I'm like off the mic. I'm like, God damn, I can't believe that happened today.
Mhm.
But then when you get everybody together and it's a good feeling and we're talking tools, we're enjoying the evening together and our friendships, relationships, whatever. You like Sasha said to me this morning, we were talking for a little bit. He's like, it gives you an energy, doesn't it? I go, yeah. He goes, I said to you, he goes, oh yeah. He goes, I'm fired up. It was good. It's good to see people who appreciate the Festool brand, you know?
I wrote Rick this morning a message because all the talk after the event was very positive.
Mhm.
Um, like a
Hey,
lot more so than the first time we did that a couple of years ago.
Jason, can I say something? I saw him read that about 10 times to 10 different people.
Really?
Sure.
What you sent him. He didn't read everything, but what you just said about the vibe that everybody had. And
Hmm.
everybody goes, and they go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
everybody
meant
had
a
a
lot.
really
That,
really good time.
that meant a lot to Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a great job. I mean, the setup was great. I liked that it was down on that in that bottom area. Um,
Hmm.
I thought it was cool. The mezzanine's cool, but um, a lot brighter. But it was a great space. It was awesome. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
a really good event. I think you guys did a great job. All the tools were out except one,
Oh, oh, we didn't
Conturo.
have the Contoro out.
No, and I I actually said something. I can't remember who I was talking to. I was like, all of these tools are out, and the one thing that you don't have is a Conturo out here. Like people would want to see that. Come on. I'm like, I would have demoed it.
Hey, the Exo Active, we knew everybody wanted to try that on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still have never put that on.
Really?
Really?
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I wish I would known. I just threw two away today after the event.
Yeah, just got rid of them. There's too many germs on them. Too many
Yeah. You just
gross,
save the
yucky
battery and
influencers
toss
put them
them.
on.
To hell with sanitizer. Just toss them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really thought maybe the disposable Exoactive was going to come out this year. I was looking for that. You just wear it once a day and just toss it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Disposable.
solar option.
Oh, that there you go. Just
Solar.
no, you it comes with a festival hat that is a solar panel and it
Yes.
connects to your thing.
Solar
Yeah, no,
active.
that's 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I had a
2029.
really, really good long conversation. Well, one with Barbara, like right in the beginning of the event, which I thought was really cool because I saw her from across the room and she legitimately like made an effort
Hmm.
to come all the way across just to have a conversation with me. She asked how my wife was doing. She asked how everything has been going when we're going to Germany again. We talked about all kinds of stuff. She's so cool. But I had a great conversation with Wolfgang,
Yeah.
and I was in line to the secret room. Bum bum bum. And Barbara came up to me again and she said, "Have you met Wolfgang?" And I said, "No, I don't believe that I have." And she goes, "He wants to talk to you, but I don't know where he is. I'm going to go find him." So she went and found him, brought him back over, and we talked for probably, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. I mean, but oh man, like him being like the head of all product development for Festool, that was quite an interesting conversation. And I really thought it was cool that he was asking my opinions on certain things specifically, which I won't talk about what that is, but I did get some clarification and got a little bit of backstory on a couple of things that everybody wants to know. But one of them in particular was kind of the story behind the Vaxis, and he explained it to me. Like what the issue was. But I did tell him, I was like, you do realize that if you brought that back for a special edition, right? That thing would fly off the shelves and it would probably be the exact same thing it was when you guys took
Right,
it off.
right. Just make it
But
blue.
as soon as you got rid of that thing, everybody wanted it. He's like, yeah, we've kind of been hearing that too, but that was just really interesting. There's some other things that I asked him, and it was very, very cool to have that conversation. And there's a very good chance that I will either be going to Germany at some point this year to talk with him and his team. And if I don't make a separate trip, then I will most certainly be going to visit him when we go in October. So
Cool.
wants to show
He's
me
got
around.
he's got such a great personality, doesn't he?
He's great. Yes, he was very fun to talk to.
Yeah, he made a beeline for me. He was doing a tour with the board, and he went, Sedge, and he came over. Everybody kind of went, "Oh, we're gonna continue with the tour. A couple hours from now, we'll catch up after he talks to Sedge." But jokingly, and he goes, "I just wanted to say hi, and I had lunch with Christian last week, and I go, he's doing good, he's doing good." So he's just such a nice man. He's a gentleman,
Yeah,
and he's got an infectious personality. He's
yeah.
got great enthusiasm, great vibe, great enthusiasm.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
he's one of the
that was it. I've got his
yeah,
business card sitting right here. I'm gonna shoot him an email follow up probably next week after they all get back because I know that all
yeah,
those guys are leaving on Friday
yeah,
to head home. But it was a really great event.
yeah. Clint keeps them busy. They were out going to shops. Sherwin-Williams today, a Rockler. I think they went to Rockler to go look at that, but they went to COC down in Bloomington. Yeah, and I think they're going out again Friday before they leave. I think
Yeah,
they like to stay busy. They like to see what's going on in America, and
yeah.
it's cool. Yeah, it's great being
Ron,
part of a team like that.
Ronnie, what? Well, I guess we should at least say like what all the new things were that we can talk about. So we had the 1010 with the accessory set, the new ETS cordless models with the light.
What'd you guys think? What'd you think of the light?
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's bright, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
yeah. Feels great. The drill guide.
What'd you think?
Um, I think it's really cool. And that drill, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's part of it because it's a whole setup. It's the drill and the guide system itself, correct?
Yeah, there's no drill involved. It's you know how the gray ring for Centro for fast fix,
Yeah.
you connect it, you can Centro Tech it, put a regular. It's all Centro Tech. Fast fix chucks can go on, but
But the
there's
drill itself, that's part of the body that with the you pull the trigger and you drill stuff, or was that a separate drill? I don't know why, but when
no
I
you
took the picture of it, it looked like one I had never seen before.
no, it's all the same drill. You can use any drill that has a fast fix stub on it.
Okay, okay. Then maybe it was just
Yeah,
a older model or something, or I didn't pay that much attention. But I took a picture and I'm like, it seems like that's different. I wonder if that comes with
I
it. But
I wish I had been at that station because I don't know how much they were able to show you on that. But I went through a generalized training on it with everybody in Germany and all around the world. And then we always have a separate training the next day of just trainers. And the little nuances on it blows me away.
yeah.
And I can't wait to do a Festool live on it because there's some things I've already thought of that they weren't showing on it.
Hmm.
And okay, keep going. Sorry. Yes.
They had the new Vax, the 26, 36,
Yep.
and 48.
Facelift. Yep.
Yeah, and so now they have the same built-in Bluetooth stuff like the MIDI has,
Yep.
which I love. I think that was so smart.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
The
The
air cleaner,
air cleaner,
which is awesome.
yes, and
Oh,
then
cool. That's right. I'm sorry. I set all of it up and I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta remember what we did.
Yeah.
So they give me the domino. Nothing new. It gave me the domino because you know why? I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was next to
What
the bar.
what yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best spot. What was the last thing? Oh, the lights. The new
Yeah.
sys
The
work
Yeah.
lights. Those things. Holy cow. That big one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy cow.
So
Like
so everybody listening, welcome to my summer of Festool Live.
yeah.
oh yeah. There you go.
Starting in April, May.
There you go.
I can start talking about lights, air cleaner, and then all through the course of what they're talking, what these guys are mentioning right now, everybody listening, it's our year. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I think the important part is what we can't talk about, which kind of sucks, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Holy
it'd be cool.
shit.
Be cool to talk about
Ev-
that. But
Everybody better be prepared, baby.
everybody's listening now and they're like, why why can't you just say it? Just say it. This is driving
No.
me nuts. Our lips are sealed.
Mm.
I had to sign paperwork that said I had to keep my lips
And
sealed.
me being a jerk right now. That's nothing. What you guys saw. You should see coming out 2028. It's freaking crazy. I have to keep working at
I won't be
festivals.
woodworking by then.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be on to my next hobby.
I'll be on to my next boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie.
What?
Hmm.
Ronnie, I can't get enough of you two knuckleheads. I love that boat. So I forgot to watch it Sunday morning, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I went, oh shit, it was noon. Uh, Chris had just left. We had just wrapped up filming, and I went, okay, yeah, I'm gonna relax. I went, oh shit, let me go watch it. You guys are great.
Yeah. You're lucky. Your timing was good because I didn't publish it until like middle of the day on Sunday.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So I
cool.
was a little later than usual. Um, and then I'm stressing out this week. It's not going to happen like it has been on the weekends
Yeah, of
because
course.
I have the I'll mess up the name of it. Epiph
E-
Epiphanes.
Epiphanes.
Yes, Epiphanes is definitely what I want to use from all my
Yep,
research.
yep.
And I don't
Great
really
product.
like, how newer mahogany is really light when
Mm-hmm.
it's just has epoxy on it. It almost becomes like a really light orange color.
Mm.
And so to counteract that, you really need to stain first before you do the epoxy layer. So we have all of the floorboards, which I had a guy get really upset with me. He said, "Don't call it the floor, it's the sole." But I've seen just as many boat things talk about it being the floor as I have it called being the sole. And I'm like, whatever. But this is a the boards, we took them all out. And like the part of the video is we're removing the floor. We're going to stain and epoxy them all four sides so we can put it back in. So it's like encapsulated. We get them all out on the workbench, laid out, numbered, and everything. And then find out that I'm not going to get the shipment until next Monday or Tuesday. So it's going to be, we'll probably be delayed on this one. It won't be. But I was talking to Eric Spenceley at the event, and he was like, "It's YouTube. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be dead on the same day every week.
Yeah.
You're okay."
It
No,
absolutely
you're good.
doesn't. Yeah.
And
It doesn't.
I was like, yeah, I guess that's right. So it's going to be a little bit longer till we roll out the next one, but that'll be number 8. They're going out quick. Um, but that's fun. I want to get, we can't, oh, I didn't finish what I was saying. Until we get the floor back in, we can't put the seats back in because the next thing we're going to do is enclose the top, the bow,
Yeah.
and all the way around.
Yeah.
But the seats have to be in place before we can do that because the sides wrap over the seats. So we kind of a little bit are stuck right now. There's other things we can do, small little things, but it's always, I say this a lot. It's like a brain teaser. You always have to be looking ahead, like 2 or 3 weeks for product, making sure you have product and materials.
Oh,
And if you're not thinking ahead, you can lose a week of production because
absolutely.
it's like, and it would be so much easier if I built another boat. But it's on the first one, there was just things you don't think about, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, we've got to have that, or oh, we've got to do that first, and we're constantly doing that. But we're at the point now where I don't even look at the plans anymore. There's no need. Like we're that close to being finished, but there's still a ton to do. You
Yep.
know, we're at the part where now we get to do what we want it to be. We want to do however we want it to be, everything. So that's really fun to not have to go by the plans anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool as heck.
I don't think I've ever had paper that has been used so much. I take it back and forth with me every day, like from the shop to the house, shop to the house. It's like tissue paper now. It's so soft. It's like if you've taken paper and you did this
Yeah.
with it all over.
Yeah.
It's like a treasure map soft,
Nice.
and it's ripped in the edges. And I think I'm never gonna get rid of those plans because I've looked at them so many times, and I constantly see new things when I look at the plans. It things that I looked over or glazed over before because I didn't think it mattered, and I see where it's called out, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see how they really thought of most everything on the plan. One guy did. So that was we've made progress, but then we got to hold up. But that drill guide I was thinking would be really good for people in the boat like building
Yep.
industry because I have a Rockler version of that and I had to use it for the back because I set it the transom angle and going in straight, but it's really big and bulky and I liked that the Festool was smaller. So
Yep.
that was, and also for people who work mobily, um, you really don't have options. When it's not like I'm going to keep that big Rockler guide in my van, but
Hmm.
sometimes you need to do a straight, and the Victorial has that base, but we don't
Yep.
have anything for drills. We always just
Yep.
have to kind of eye it. And usually when
Yeah.
it's really important, I'll be on top and I'll have Cameron be on the side, and I'll know when I'm straight, and he'll tell me when I'm from the side,
So,
and then we go for it like that.
so did Chris show you the guide that indexes 32 millimeter?
No, no, I didn't see that.
Okay. And the offset from the back of the guide is 37 millimeter. So if you need to put holes in the back, just push it up against the back, and there's an indexing pin you pull out 5 millimeter and use it on the rail, and you can
Oh,
punch perfect, perfect
cool.
uh 30 spacing holes, shelf pin
Good.
holes on a fly. It's really well thought
That's neat.
and it works. And there's that rail attachment, so it's kind of nice
Yeah.
that you can actually flip over and extend the base, and it gives you an extra outrigger support for more base support.
Mm,
So it's really cool.
that is cool.
Did you
And
also see that old antique tool that was a plunge? More
yes,
it was
Yes.
that was pretty cool, huh?
yeah, it was
Like
really neat to see those
3 feet
tools.
tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
that's a
band
hell of an auger bit, huh? But it was also plunge and it works great.
in the portable bandsaw that was the size of a smart car.
Yeah.
It was like it was huge.
That
Yeah.
was one of that was
Yeah.
one of our first gasoline chainsaws too we had there.
Oh, that was so neat. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Very,
That was
very
in the
cool.
lobby when you guys walked in.
Yeah.
What, Ronnie, what would you say out of all the things that were out on the main floor, what was your favorite thing
It's
and
the air
why?
cleaner for sure.
Really?
Because I do a pretty good job in my shop of making the air somewhat, with the Powermatic cleaner I have on the ceiling and um, or using dust collection. I do a very decent job, but when you get out on a job site, and I'll say a job site, like if I was working in a rental house when somebody moves out, things that we have to do, like quick jobs and things, I don't have I can hook dust collection up, but dust definitely gets thrown up. And as much as you can collect it, the better, because that's less time we're going to spend, cleaning and making them, they're all hardwood floors. So it's always good to keep the dust down as much as possible. And that's something that's so small, I would keep it on my van all the time. And
Hmm.
I'm always double excited about a tool that I can just keep in the van and not have to think, oh, I need to take that with me today. Because that's what it used to be. That's the way my DeWalt table saw was, my portable saw. I would only take it and put it in the center aisle when I had to. I never wanted to devote such a big space in my van. So now that the table saw is in a sustainer format, it stays in there all the time. And it's so nice because sometimes I'm like, I can use a table saw for this when I normally would just grab the track saw. So sometimes I'll pull that out and I have it and I have that in the stand permanently in the van. So I definitely would make a place for the air cleaner as well because there's times that you just have to make do and not having had a portable solution for cleaning the air. And I also understand that the HEPA version is good for fumes as well. So switching back to like in our shop, the epoxies are enough to give you a headache. Like if you're in there long, like more than like 30 minutes, they're not really a strong smell, but they give you a headache like really quickly. You can kind of tell the same way like a propane heater. And I talked to a guy already on Instagram. I posted about the air cleaner and he said he's wants to get it for boat fumes for chemicals on boats.
Yeah. I just you can't use it for spraying.
Yeah, I wouldn't intend for spraying. I'm actually not going to spray, I don't think, anything on the boat. I'm
Yeah.
leveling out and doing the multiple coats of
Yeah.
varnish. but
It's not rated to work in spray rooms, or it's not rated to work in like for, you're spraying in your garage to do that.
hmm yeah, I think he was referring to like epoxies and chemicals.
Yeah.
That's what he was
So
referring to.
I can talk to that odor. I don't know. Did they say that at the Connect?
Yeah, I talked to two different people that told me that the HEPA is better for the odors and that kind, but
Oh,
the other
definitely.
one has more airflow, which is interesting because normally if I was deciding which one to buy, I would just say, I'll just get the HEPA. It's $100 more. But it was pointed out to me that the Rick told me that
Yes, it's the
the
electronics.
airflow is much higher on the non-HEPA and it
Yes.
rotates more air through. So it's good for people to know so they don't just buy the HEPA because they think and they don't need it. If you don't need it,
Hmm.
Yep.
don't get that option.
Yeah. So that I can do something anecdotal and tell you I've been using it for a long time in my shop, and I got an automatic from Amazon. I got a $16 remote because it doesn't come with a remote, but big deal. I've been wheeling it around, and everybody knows I've been doing a shit ton of edge banding for the miter saw station, right?
Hmm
So Jason, you guys both know with a Contoro that smells.
hmm
Hmm.
It has a linger in your shop for a little bit, right?
Hmm.
Right. So in the background, nobody even saw it in the video, but I had the air cleaner going. And
Yeah,
it's okay. And what's really funny is it took out the odor. Well, it didn't have any linger to it.
Hmm.
It was
that's good.
kind of nice. So here's the other thing too. Because we had it off to the side. There was one time we shot 2 hours and we couldn't use what we shot because the air cleaner was in the background.
Yeah, I've been there. It
Have
sucks.
Sedge, this just popped in my mind, but have you all ever considered just putting a blurry square?
No,
But
he didn't
but
want to go through that because it
but
would create,
that would create so many like
yeah,
interactions. Like, what was on your floor? What was
yeah,
it? You know?
yeah. So we had that conversation and we just decided to reshoot it, and it was really no big deal because Chris is editing.
hmm
We could use some of the stuff, but not all of it. It was kind of funny. So we have a checklist in the morning. Is the fan running? Is there prototypes in the background?
uh
Does the Sedge have his pouch on? Jokingly.
Have
But
you?
it's that checklist we have now before we start shooting.
Oh,
It's
is
kind
one
of
of the things
fun.
on your checklist to make sure that your microphone didn't turn itself off?
Yes,
That's
all
one
kinds
that's
of stuff.
that's
My
one that's
circulate.
getting us. We'll work for a long time and I don't realize it, and they've shut off. Like they have the blue light,
Yeah.
and I always look at him and he looks at me and make sure he sees the blue light because that sucks too.
Yep.
Because it totally changes your audio when you
Oh,
go from
Yeah.
that to the.
oh yeah. And background noise. We always check that. Yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Uh,
But I had the Cicero for quite a few hours in the background for reshoot. So we're like, shoot.
That thing, it's
yeah. That,
uncanny to me how much air that thing actually really moves.
Ooh.
Like the first time I saw it, I
Yeah.
remember, when it was turned on and I was all the way across the room and I'm like, I can legitimately feel that air
Oh,
circling around.
that's right. We were in the garage.
Hmm.
We had a bunch of people over. We were all sitting around talking about it. Rick was there, Pascal, you, me,
Yeah.
and we had that running, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, that was kind of cool on the Sunday afternoon. Yeah, it was kind of
It's
cool. I
it's
forgot.
significant. So I mean, it definitely, and I liked Garrett's setup that he had, where he had like the
Yes.
air quality thing, and that's how um they did the demo or whatever.
Yep.
So
And
mhm.
it's
we
pretty
have
cool.
and that tablet's cool, huh? Because we can monitor the particulate in the air and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Did
that's
they
neat.
have that running?
Yes.
Hmm.
It was on
Yep.
96, 95, 96 range.
Yeah. And everybody will see that in a couple
Anybody?
weeks on Festool Live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I'll
that's
have that cabinet. It's the best way to show it. And we also have them hanging now in our training centers. Brent hooked up his, and I'm going to hook up mine in 2 weeks when I get back from next week.
Now, correct me if
Oh
I'm
my
wrong,
God.
but that can be stationary, like on the floor, on a work surface. It can be hung from the ceiling.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
everything.
So
That's what I
just like
like
your
about it.
standard air cleaner, this thing just moves a significant amount more of air.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
Yeah,
yeah. And
impressive.
do you see that three stage
filter.
It's expensive. The HEPA filter is expensive, and let me explain why. It's handmade. It's all hand glued, and because of we have that insistence on high quality. That is an extraordinary HEPA filter in there. It's like you could when you're manufacturing something, and I think we talked a little bit about this with Jeff Wood. Uh, that was right. I got his name right.
Hmm.
We had him on our podcast. Yeah,
Well,
he
according
was.
to me, it's Jess Wood. Did I tell you guys that
Oh
story?
no,
He sent me a message after it went live, and it said, um, "Find out more about our guest Jess Wood." Well, it's because when I typed it in the first time, it auto corrected to from Jeff to Jess, and then
oh
I copy and paste that text and I put it across all the different platforms. So for the first few days, it was Jess Wood.
yeah,
We
and
we
he
loved
was
having you on here, Jess.
Jess. We were
Yeah.
talking in the podcast about product pricing,
Hmm.
uh, and there's well, we could have thrown any old HEPA filter in there, but we wanted to make sure it was right for the airflow. And we also had to put in different electronics because of that filter. And it because when you look at when you guys were talking just a few minutes about airflow, it's when you do the math, it's the same turbine, it's the same draw for power, same amperage. So what's the difference? Because everybody wants to switch the filter. That's a no. There's a pre-filter and then a regular filter, and that the difference is the different inner filter, regular versus HEPA. And everybody says, "Oh, I'll just buy the regular and then throw a HEPA in there." You can't because it's the electronics, and you'll mess up you'll mess up the electronics because it's a higher flow with the regular one.
Those are
How
the
So
does
same
it?
that's
people that buy a ETS EC 125 and then buy the 6-inch pad for it because they think that that's okay to do.
and it burns it up because the counterweight's completely different, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you change out Jeep wheels and tires. If you don't change out the gearing, you do the same thing.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, up to after 35s.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah,
after
yeah.
Yeah,
35s.
after 35s, you have to start changing the other things. That's kind of the same principle. On the air cleaner, what is the method for telling you when the filter is full, or how does
It's
that work? I mean,
it goes okay, so let me get this straight. Okay. So there's a red green button. It turns red, you take out the pre-filter, put a new pre-filter in.
okay.
Okay. Um you turn it back on, it turns to red. Clean your
Okay.
HEPA filter.
What
You
do what?
turn it on, it turns to green, it's good.
And there's not a
And
way
I'll
for
ex-
you to.
I'll explain it a lot better during Festool Life,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that'll be helpful. Is there there's not a lifespan on it because it just depends on the conditions of the environment, right? I mean, it could be one day in certain cases, right? Like
yeah.
if it
And
was.
there's a lot of suggestions on the pre-filter changing. You'll go through 7 pre-filters to one HEPA.
Mhm.
If I
Oh,
remember
wow.
my stats. If I remember my stats correctly. It all depends on the environment you're in,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
Well, that's
And listen, when it comes to I could talk about also filters, the HEPA filters on the CT dust extractors. Some will say, I take mine out and blow out. Okay, guess what? It's no longer a HEPA filter. You don't realize you've blown a hole in the HEPA filter.
that's
Okay,
true.
so look at it. Look, everybody says, "Oh, I clean my shop vac filters all the time. I blow air out of it." Guys, listen. If you turn on your shop vac and there's dust coming out, you no longer have a filter. And every
Mhm.
shop vac I've done that, the dust or that fine particle comes out the output.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just
And
blowing all
guess
over the
what?
place.
You have no filter.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could tell you could blow air through it, but you have to turn it down to 5 psi. No one does that. What is your compressor set at? Always 90 plus because of your nail guns, right? No one goes and
Mhm.
turns down their regulator. So a HEPA filter is only good once if you blow air through it. You take it out and you tap them clean or you vacuum clean. But you got
Hmm.
to be careful with that because you could poke a hole in the filtration.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fast forward, blowing air to clean out a filter is a no-no, especially the new air cleaner. Take it out, tap it clean.
Yeah, I like the tap method anyway. It doesn't get it up in the air.
Yep.
It's
What are your
amazing how much comes out of those dust collectors when you do that.
If if you use a bag, which you everybody does now in a CT dust extractor, right? That's a 5 micron filter.
Hmm.
And now you don't use it, your HEPA filter, you'll be replacing it all the time. If you use that bag, I've got to be very careful because I tell people I've never changed my HEPA filters. I take them out, tap them clean. They last extraordinarily long.
Yeah, they do.
When do you change it? Why do we have replacement HEPA filters? Because people blow air through them, or they're on a job site with an RRP, you know, lead paint, whatever, and I'll tell them replace them every 2 or 3 months just to keep them up to speed for your for certification. So,
what were
man,
your
I could go, guys. That by guys that I'm sorry to be so boring. I could talk
Oh, you're
about
fine.
air filtration forever.
I mean, I think everybody listening to the podcast, including we all have to deal with the dust and things in the air, and it's sometimes it's scary. I don't know if people when you have windows in your shop, sometimes you get to see the air like when the light comes through.
Oh
Sometimes the
yeah,
sun's setting, and it's actually scary. Like
yep.
what goes up, even just walking across the floor, how much goes up into the air. Um, it's
7 hours it takes to drop 3 feet.
what
1 micron particle.
really.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So I think there's
Volcanic dust, 28 days.
wow. Wow,
Guys,
this
that's a
episode
rough
guys, let me
title is going to be
really
Fun Facts with Sedge.
guys, let me bore you with the stupid particle knowledge I have and dust extraction knowledge I have infiltration in my head.
no, I think there's definitely a need for that. And I saw it for the first time. I remember what I was up for. It was like in the summer. Rick showed it to me and he asked me what I thought of it. And I never even really thought of that as being a concept. I immediately thought, how ingenious inside of a sustainer and air cleaner. Why don't they have that already? You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys went over the sustainer systems, right, of North America?
Yes, which I want to talk about. Yeah.
And you talked to the CEO there, didn't you? Chris Devlin.
Hmm.
I trained Chris Devlin when he was 17 years old on Festool. He was going to University of Illinois over in Champaign-Urbana, working at Champaign-Urbana wood shop on the weekends, and he sold a lot of Festool. And he came to training, and I met him when he was 17.
Wow.
And he's a really good friend of mine. And oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. We were just talking about cis hair, right? Chris invented it. It was his idea. With
Ah.
he was head of product management at Festool North America,
Hmm.
and he made one and brought it to Germany to show them with another young man who was from Austria. He was here in the U.S. His name was Thomas Ostel, and
That's cool.
and now Thomas is the CEO of the largest cabinet shop in Austria. He just worked with Festool for fun for a couple of years. He took over the family business.
Huh.
And he's a really good dude. Him and Chris invented it.
That's
That's
neat.
Chris's idea. And it's kind of funny. The Cis Air's over there finally. It's
Hmm.
making its debut. And now he's the CEO of Sustainer Systems of
That's
North
so
America.
cool.
He's
Very
such a
cool.
good kid.
I did not know that he came up with that idea. That's the
Yeah,
first I
it's
heard
his
that.
idea.
You know,
He goes,
Rick,
and I saw it. He goes, Sedge, they brought me up at the product management room, him and Thomas, and they go, what do you think of this? I go, hot damn.
yeah, it was
Oh my
exciting.
God. Those guys came up with so many cool ideas over the years they worked together.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
needed. I think, and I think people are more conditioned to spend that kind of money on something like that now. There was a time when people would probably be like, I'm not spending anything on that, whatever, you know. But I think people think differently now,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
for sure.
What what did you what are your thoughts on the sander?
Which one?
The new ETS EC
I
with the
love the
light and
light.
cordless, the
I,
cordless sander.
Yeah, I love the light. And I'm thinking of the light a lot because, especially when I start doing the bow of the boat, it's going to be critical. Every kind of light I can, where I don't have any kind of, impressions or ridges or anything, because when it gets that glossy finish on it, it's going to show everything. So that light becomes more. And I also thought about it for like sanding of anything where you're putting a finish on. That'd be, and I like how wide it is
Mhm.
and low.
It felt really, really nice. I mean, it feels just like an ETS-EC, but the thing that
Hmm.
when I first saw it that I was concerned about was, okay, so now we're adding all the weight in the back with the battery. It's going to throw it way off balance. And how they incorporated that metal molding into the front of it
Hmm.
to help counteract that, I thought was really interesting. We, I was only using it with a 4 amp hour battery, but we switched it to like a 5, and it didn't really throw it off that much more, but it felt freaking great. Felt awesome. Obviously, I don't think that a cordless sander is going to be something that every woodworker is probably racing to buy or needs, but there's a lot of times where I would have wished that, like doing stuff in the house, that I could just have a sander that I could just hit the button real quick and just do
Hmm.
whatever I need to do, touch something up, and then go get back to work doing what I'm doing. So I am excited about that. I think it's pretty cool, and I think the integration of the light is awesome. And my
I've
assumption would be that that will probably be something you see in the future moving forward for any of their legacy Sanders. I mean, it just makes
mhm.
sense now. Yeah.
Is it the DTS? Is that the Delta Head battery powered? Is it the DTS? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, I have that one, and it's the only battery powered sander that I have, and I find myself reaching for it a lot. And I keep it on the van because that's like you said. Sometimes I'm grabbing it. It'll be a column outside, and I need to do something, and I just go up to it. It's so handy to be able to use that, and it's amazing how much the bag captures. Like
Yeah.
outside, it's really all you need. I mean, it's grabbing a large majority of what you're sanding. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I don't understand how the dust goes into the bag, but it does.
It's one of the only
Um,
sanders I've ever used where the bag actually captures the dust.
It really
yeah.
does. The first time I used it, I looked into it because I was curious, and I was like, "Wow, there's a lot in there."
Yeah.
It's cool.
So I wanted to talk about something that we may have talked about on another episode, and it has to do with the bot smart van system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So obviously, ever since Dusty Lumber posted about it and he put it in his shop, and I think most people's initial reactions are like, "Why would you do that? That's not what that system is for," you know. And that was my reaction, and I just thought it seemed kind of silly. And then I went to the event last night, and I saw a whole bunch of them set up against the wall, and then started talking to Chris and finding out that they've actually made special brackets that allow you to do that, and that this that is absolutely an application that you could use it for now. And I found myself like picturing in my head like an area that I could do it. The problem is though is it's like, that's probably a tough pill to swallow, but at the same time, there's plenty of people out there, me being one of them, that would much rather buy the solution that they want than make it because they have other things that they want to do and they want to prioritize. So they're willing to spend that little bit of extra money. But I actually think it's pretty dang cool. And then like seeing it with all the different organizational options and how much you can change, like the layout, how you can integrate the wider sustainers versus the smaller sustainers, the bins that they have, all of these things, the pull out trays, like it's pretty dang cool. Like it's a very well thought out system, and I think it could absolutely be a really good organizational solution for the shop. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, I think for some it would. It would. I mean, I also thought at first I was like, "Why is it going on the walls?" But my first thought is that my ceilings are like 10 feet tall, and I would lose. I have to do something above it, or I'm losing like storage
Mm-hmm.
space. But those are like, are they 6 feet tall?
It
Mm-hmm.
looks like, I think it was around
Maybe,
6 feet
maybe.
because it was about as tall as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could see an application for even store fixtures, like a storefront.
Hmm.
Somebody who sold specialty things, that could be their look in there because it looks so nice.
Hmm.
If you were just displaying items that you're That would be a really nice store fixturing type place
Hmm,
that
never
sold
thought of
pieces
that.
and parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Hmm.
cool. It's kind of I feel like it's almost like any other.
Well, they finally because we showed it on Festool Live, they finally started doing trailers, and that was huge for the U.S. market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really Sky started to get some real good steam, and they're able to adapt to get stuff done when a company uses a particular van for their fleet, and we don't have the racking for it or the anchor points for it. It can be designed within 10 days. It's a great turnaround. And those guys are selling to fleets and everything.
Hmm.
And then somebody said, "Hey, what about possible on the wall?" And Chris and I talked about it a few bit. And I went, "Oh, never thought of that," because I had asked them for a couple of the panels, which I haven't gotten yet. But just because I like that, I use that square pegboard, what
Mhm.
Hmm.
they call perf wall, and I think, and Chris did his whole, of course he did, shop uh, back in Missouri where he's from, and it's pretty cool. He's a he's a he's a perfect person to run that company. He just started last year with it, but he
Hmm.
brought on Danny. Him and Max work well together. He just brought on Victor for he was our rep in Chicago. Now Victor's working for Sustainer Systems, and Rachel and Tim from the Sustainer store now works with him. So he's he's doing really well.
Yeah.
He's a hot shot. He's a good kid, super smart. You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
I really got a little excited once I saw it. I was like, oh man, that's so cool.
Well, it's storage, man. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
organization,
Yeah, like I
and
think I'm probably leaning more towards it now because we always have this discussion of like wanting to spend time getting organized. And then you look at that because when you really think about it, it's just like going into your shop and seeing the wall of sustainer storage, on the pull-out trays. Well, this is kind of just the same thing, just a beefier metal version of that to kind of give you a lot of that same effect. But I will say, I think that if it was going to be a shop solution, having the pull out like Festool trays that pull all the way out to where you can open them up instead of the van idea where they're like in there and they're locked in place, with the sys rails or whatever. Because that I don't find as much of a benefit to like a home shop, just because like then if you need to open it, you always have to pull it out. But it makes perfect sense in a vehicle that's moving because it locks it in place and you're probably going to take the thing out to begin with to go into the job site. So I think maybe a hybrid, but I definitely liked it. I mean, I wouldn't say I would never do it. At least now that I've got to see it mess with it. Um,
and I'll say it now. A lot of people think that the bot system is just the racking is just for Festool sustainers or Tano sustainers. It's not. They have stuff for all the other brands that you can actually integrate into that racking system.
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just, when I do Festool Live,
Right.
I it has to be Festool branded and stuff like that. And you know, it,
Yeah.
but they have it for all of them. But people don't know that.
Oh, so all those
And that's
Milwaukee pack out weenies could benefit from it.
exactly. And I always tell people, contact them, Sustainers of North America. They'll talk you through whatever you need. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That is
I did like seeing that. Um,
Boy, I said, oh my God, we're gonna be here till 2 in the morning breaking that down. I've never seen, my dad used to say, it's all elbows and assholes, man. I looked over there as we were packing up. Holy crap, those guys were motivated to get out of there last night. Holy shit, they had it all down. It was unbelievable. Hey, you know how I came over and at the end of the night and say hi to you over there?
mhm.
And they said, "Oh, everybody's leaving." So I went over and I'm going to shout out to Justin, who worked the Domino booth with me. He's our application specialist. Did you guys talk to him at all? He's just
You,
such a laid back guy, but he's a hand tool
no, I don't.
fanatic. So him and I get along like peaches and cream, man. He's such a good guy, and he's the guy who wanted to work with me. I walk over there. He's all packed up. He goes, Sedge, I got it right here. All I was like, dude, you're hired full time, man. I was like, he made my job super easy. Yeah. Wow. It was great. And I think the big thing about breakdowns sometimes I look around and everybody goes home and it's just Rick, Brent, and I. But everybody stuck around, helped out. It was amazing. Yeah, all the executives were there with us, breaking down stuff, putting away MFTs, taking trash out, sweeping up. And
That's great.
I looked at Rick and because we were going to pack up. I think we had 60 MFTs scattered out about everywhere. And Rick said, "Oh, we'll put those away tomorrow." And then all of a sudden he saw all hands on deck. He goes, "Hell with that. We're packing everything up tonight."
Yeah.
And that's what made today easier. So, okay, I'm done talking about work.
No, it's it's
Yeah.
it's
Boo. I mean,
it's
I think we
a
covered
big
just
deal.
about everything. Um, there's not like the vax and those things. Anybody that probably saw the bombardment of social media content yesterday and today, the showing all the different things, but um, it was a good time. It's cool to be
It
able to
was just
go to stuff like that.
it was just cool. I was like saying goodbye, and then one of you said, "Oh, I'll talk to you tomorrow night, Sedge."
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you
And
what,
we're
I
hanging
am.
and we're hanging out next week, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the only time that, other than the podcast, that we really get to talk. I know every time we're at an event, we really, all three of us don't really talk to each other because we get to talk so much. There's so many other people there.
Hmm.
It's like, and I feel, it was almost hard to talk to everyone there, that
Oh
amount.
yeah.
Like there were a few people where it was like towards the end of the night, and I've
Oh,
seen them a couple of times, and I realized I still had not said like hi to them.
Right.
yep.
And
You know,
Uh,
hey Jason, thanks again. I am not 100 freaking years old. So,
Man, that
t
was a perfect
by the
jab.
way, the family loved it. End of the night, they go, Sedge, we didn't know you were 100. So, so it was cool. Just they asked me, and I said last night, uh, because I was out front bringing stuff out front, and I met up with the family, and they go, "What did you think?" I go, "Everybody loved it." They go, "Why?" I go, "I turned around and everybody was smiling," and they go, "Ah, that's the key." And I go, "Yeah, it is. Everybody was having a good time. Everybody was engaged." And so you were mentioning about meeting people, and I met a lot of new people.
Mhm.
Dorada from Canada, I had met. She's from Calgary. Great craftsperson. I met Erica from Ottawa. Very nice. And then all of a sudden, when somebody was speaking, this lady looked over at me, and it was Laura Kampf
Mhm.
from Germany, but she moved to LA. And she looked at me, she went, "Hey." And I went, "Hey." And during the event, more toward the end of the night, I went up and I introduced myself. She goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I see you at Anderson Plywood all the time up on the television screen." And I talked to her for about 5, 10 minutes. What a wonderful person
Yeah,
she is.
she's nice.
And and sometimes you see somebody in social media and you go, okay. But when you get to talk to them one on one and realize, oh, what a great person, you know? The
Unless it's
the
Drew Witt.
oh my God, what a pill.
Yeah. That that one is validated by everybody. So,
Oh, here's one. I didn't even get a chance to talk to Eric Spenceley at all.
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
What a drag,
it
man.
was
I
hard.
wanted to
It's
shit
hard
all
to,
over his podcast.
yeah, it's hard
It-
to catch everybody. When I walked in, I saw Barbara was the first person that I saw, and for anyone, that's the one that is the granddaughter of Festool, and she was in Germany. I met her there, and I thought, well, I might as well say hi to her because I may not get a chance. And I told her that I said hi. We met in Germany, and Laura was behind us. You were talking about she's from Germany, and she saw her, and I saw her eyes light up, and I was like, just want to say hi, and I kind of like walked away from her, and we just had to like really short because I could tell that they knew each other very well.
Oh yeah.
Didn't think a thing of it, and I was in the other end of the room like 30 minutes later, and she came up to me, and she's like, "I'm so sorry that you kind of got cut off earlier." She's like, "I didn't," and she talked to me for probably I don't know, like 10 minutes or so with her sister
Hmm.
and it was just we were talked about where we went when we were in Germany, and she asked exactly where and told us things that we should do next time. And
Hmm.
we talked about in this country what she was going to do and how she's going to be really busy going to all the stores and doing everything. But one of the coolest things she told me about one of her friends' houses. I was talking about the age of the buildings over there and houses and how it blows my mind, and because we don't see things like that here. And she said that she was at her friend's house. The basement was built in the 1500s, and the house had been rebuilt in the 1700s. It's like,
Isn't that
wow,
cool?
that is
Isn't that cool?
so neat. Yeah, I was like, can you imagine the 1500s? It's like
I,
crazy.
I was in um just outside of Stuttgart. I'm trying to remember the place. Um, and I'm looking down at outside my window in the morning, and went outside, and because they were pouring a foundation, building a building, and I went, and I think it was April or May. I was there for God, this is early on, 2008, 2009. It's like this is really cool. I was by myself, and I was like, I was watching how they were pouring it and doing it. And I was like, that's kind of neat. And then I was back there, same hotel. I think it was September, and I was like, boy, and then they're still on it. They're still working on it. They're still studding and built. And I was like, oh, I get it. These guys, it's not that they're taking their time and doing it right. It's not thrown up.
Right.
They build for a lifetime. They don't build for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way
They
they build
build
things
for
there is very different.
very different
Yeah.
thicknesses, everything. It's great. It's like, and then when you see the structures that they're built like this, where there's a small footprint, but they grow like this. That's not, you know why they did that? They could
So,
make them bigger. It's based on taxes,
yeah.
the footprint for taxes.
Oh,
So they could build
uh,
up like this. It's kind of cool the way they
that's
explain sometimes.
yeah. That Tudor style that
Yeah.
explains that overhang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's really cool. And
Yeah.
every time I'm talking, I always think about this is their second language they're speaking to us, and it makes me feel so stupid because you forget that they German is their main language. It. I think about it when I'm talking to Nicole. Every time when I'm at your house, I'm thinking this is not even her. Like she can bust out German if she wanted to. I
Yeah.
just that
Come over,
it's
come over here on the weekends when we get Karina, Pascal, and Nicole.
Yeah. It's
oh
like,
really
yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
the
fine.
German.
You're in a,
Oh yeah, they start
that's
talking. It's
funny.
just so fluid to go to German, then come back.
Yeah, that
It's
just
great.
blows my mind. And they always pay attention to that when they speak. You know how they got up on the stage and they gave a little bit of a at the event last night. I always think about, I mean, even their dialect and their things that it's like they understand how we talk here. It's
Hmm.
not just like textbook. I guess it's because they get to use it all the time. They get to
Well,
practice it, but
English is
it's
the
impressive.
it's the business language. Number one, it's the global standard business language is done in English.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like all the trainers, everybody, they all speak so well. Like you don't have trouble understanding anything they say. And I just think that's impressive.
Yeah,
And
we
every
we
country's
just
not like that, you know.
yeah, we just had
Other
a gentleman over. I've talked to he was in I had him as a guest just for sitting around in Festool Live. But I also called him out several times when I did the most recent Planex about with GranatNet, and spending 45 minutes with him was absolutely epiphanal. The information he can impart, and he's just so really cool because I just asked him a simple question. He goes, "Sedge, let me show you,"
that's awesome.
and we sanded on, and I was just like, so Garrett came up to me after that Festool Live on the Monday, And he goes, it was worth spending time with him. I go, yeah. He goes, that's probably one of the best Planex lives you've ever done because now we can use that for the sales team to train them, but also train our dealers in any event because you got the right explanation on it and you showed the right way. And I went, wow, thanks, Garrett. Thanks for saying
Mhm.
that because that's why I do what I do, right? I want to make sure that people understand how to use stuff because people buy stuff, at Festool sometimes they go, this doesn't work. Yeah, it does. It's just wasn't explained to you properly how to use it properly. I guess
Mm.
that isn't that like anything,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Which is also the downside to everybody having instant access to be able to say whatever they want online because they can give a lot of the wrong information and teach people the wrong way to do things.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's
So I
not
should
taken away
be,
from people that teach different ways to do things, but they're putting out wrong information that could be bad.
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
So it's important to get it
yeah.
right.
It was a lot of cool. It was a really cool, fun time seeing everybody. And yeah, hey, you want to hear another really cool something that happened before you guys showed up? Alma showed up early, about 20 minutes, because she didn't want to go down to the hotel and then get back. She wanted to, but she decided to stop in and she was hanging in the parking lot. And she goes, I got to go to the bathroom. So she came in and she hung out with us for about 20 minutes. Minnie, myself, she got to talking with Barbara. Everybody came and spoke with her. Matt walked by her, walked up the stairs. He looked back, came down. Our CEO of North America came back. He goes, "You're Alma, huh?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Boy, I've been following you for years." She goes, he goes, "So nice to meet you." And Alma goes, "Thanks." She walks away. I go, she goes, "Who's that?" I go, "That's the CEO of North America and CEO of SawStop." She goes, "What?" I go, "Alma, you're famous." She goes, shut up, Sedge. I just, I got to tell you, if she's listening, Alma, I love you. You are one of my favorite humans. She's just so freaking cool.
Yeah, she
And
is.
I'm going to say it. She's going to be one of our guests soon
Yeah, she
on the
Fair
Three
enough.
Splinters. I asked her last night. She goes, "Hey,
that's
I'd
awesome.
love to. I'd love to join the Sausage Fest."
Yeah.
So,
She's the one
That
I was
sounds like something
referring
she would
to
say.
earlier that I saw her 3 times in the night, and I almost made the whole night with not making it over to her. I finally made it over there.
yeah. So we're going to get her on the podcast soon.
Oh, that's good. I like her.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's wrap this one up because I am freaking exhausted after 4 days of heavy drinking.
Yeah, I'm feeling tired myself.
I
But
should
I
be
will,
passed out, but I feel great. I'm
I,
exhausted, but I just feel great.
I just want to say, like I think we all just shared pretty much the same like thing when it came to, you know, and in this case, Barbara, who, arguably is the most important person within, um, you know, the company of Festool, right? And she went to the event and it's a family owned company still. And this is not a plug for Festool. This is just, I'm always so impressed by that culture and how she made it a point to walk around and talk to every
Hmm.
single person
Yeah.
in that place
Hmm.
without hesitation. And like you don't, I've been to a lot of different events, and I will tell you, that kind of stuff does not happen at all those events, right?
Hmm.
There's people that are there, and you can tell they're only there because they have to be there. They don't walk around and talk to people, but for her to do that, and not just her, I mean, plenty of the other people that came along as well. Um, but for them to just be that involved, to include people that work at Festool USA, like it's different, and I think that that's probably what makes those events as special as they are, and I just think that that's really cool, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't have to do that; they could have been doing a lot of other things. So
Bye bye.
another reason, yeah, another reason why we love the brand so much. Sedge,
Yes.
I'll let you do it. Good night,
No.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.